Welcome back to another episode of Badger Pack Sports. Been off for a while. Just good things happen in life though, So we'll let Justin kind of take that away, but we're definitely going to be getting into some Wisconsin Badgers football today. We're in Platteville, so got a lot of stuff to talk about. Justin,
Yeah,
what's been
man.
going on?
Yeah, what's been going on? It's been what? How many months? How many days? I've lost
Oh,
track.
yeah.
Been missing seeing you on here and talking Wisconsin and Packers with you,
Yep.
but no, it's been a crazy couple months. We've added in addition to our roster at the legal household with a little
Yep.
daughter that we had back in early May, and then on that same day we got a phone call from a realtor that we've gotten an offer accepted on a house up here in Green Bay. So it's been new baby, new house, moving, lots of
Yep.
boxes, lots of uh, junk
House
getting tossed,
projects,
house
joys of home
projects.
ownership.
Yeah, putting flooring in a house, and the wife wanting to buy decor for the walls and
Yep.
all this other stuff. So uh, it's been awesome, but I'm ready for football season. This time off of doing the pod, been
Yep.
spending a lot of time just thinking about all the stuff going on with Wisconsin sports. So I'm pumped to talk with you. We're pumped to see you guys
Yep.
all tuning in, and we're back and ready to rock and roll this football season.
Yep, and I messed up our recording day because we used to do it on Mondays, and I was playing softball. But softball season unfortunately came to an end in the playoffs. Didn't make it to the championship game. Lost the game before, but we had a good run this year, so that was fun. But yeah, definitely excited to start talking some football, some Wisconsin football, some Packer football. So yeah, now let's get into these Badgers. What are you excited about? What you hearing out of Platteville?
Well, some say Platteville's God's country. I don't know about that, but um, no, it's been cool just to read on all the different new faces that have come in. Seeing the new offense under Jeff Grimes, and one thing that stood out to me initially, which I think the whole fan base is looking at the quarterback position, and I
Yep.
think we've heard very solid reviews of Billy Edwards Jr.
Yep.
We're not hearing that he's you know going off the rails and going crazy, but he's just been solid leader off
Yep.
and on the field. So I think we're all very keen on him. I guess I don't know what you've been hearing and seeing, but I think Billy Edwards is the first guy I think of and who I've been kind of following closely.
Yeah, no, ever since media day, last year they had Tyler Van Dyke and he didn't end up going to media day. Tanner Mordecai did though. So I just think that was interesting that not interesting actually, that they sent him. It made complete sense to me after everything I had heard about his leadership ability, his post-it notes that he just writes down to kind of keep himself humble. Guy just seems like a great leader. There was a scuffle in one of the practices. The lineman had to go run laps, and so Billy Edwards also went and ran the lap with him. But it's like, hey, you gonna stick up for me? I'll go run the laps with you. So I just think that's a great sign of a leader. I think as this season goes on, it's like we're going to get into it, but we got a tough schedule. You need somebody who's leading this team that's going to be able to handle the ups and downs. And I think a guy like Billy Edwards does that for you.
Yeah, we'll just have to see if he can stay upright. I mean, that's just been the Achilles heel of Wisconsin football for a long time is keeping the quarterback upright. So
Yeah.
it's also been good. If that happens, I think we've heard some little bit of noise out of Danny O'Neill. There was if you
Yep.
look at Wisconsin media socials or Wisconsin social media pages, there was a play he had that went viral a couple days ago. Can't remember who he threw the pass to. If you've seen that one, but it's a deep shot that was caught.
Yep.
Like
Deep shot.
off,
Joseph Griffin was the
yeah,
ball.
heck of a throw. Obviously, there's a little bit of PTSD. I think he's wearing number 18, like Braden
He
Locke
is
did.
wearing number 18. He's going to make us forget about the old number 18. Okay.
Yes, same
Danny
build, but
O'Neill.
he's got wheels.
Yep.
No,
No,
and I
but
think the
I
other
mean, hey, but to take, I think the biggest thing is you got a guy like Dylan Jones, so you can really take the pressure off a guy like Billy Edwards Jr. I think, just being able to have that running game and, not even just Dylan Jones. I think Darrion Dupree can be a good back. And I mean, Yak is still, I mean, Yak is Yak. I think that dude is a Swiss Army knife. You can ask him to do anything and he's going to do it, like just a great team player, and that's just another thing. We got some good team players. in a transfer portal era. That's a huge thing in my opinion.
Yeah, and you talk about the run game helping out Billy Edwards and obviously, you know, using the running backs, of course, but I'm excited to see what Grimes can scheme up with the receivers too, with jet sweeps and the different types
Yep.
of creative ways of getting the ball into some of your playmakers' hands. Jayden Ballard's got wheels. You got Vinny Anthony who can probably do some fun stuff there with jet sweeps and screens. So,
Yep.
really interesting and really interested to see what this offense looks like. With the new guy at the helm with both OC and quarterback. And I expect it to be a little rough and a little choppy early on, but I think we need to see it early on. We need to see this
Yep.
week one. Like, sure, the first half might be a little slow against Miami of Ohio, but I expect to put 30 plus points, if not 40 plus, on a max goal to really assert that we mean business this year and that this offense is coming around.
Yeah, in all honesty, I don't think it's going to look as choppy as what it did last year. I think you watched Tyler Van Dyke get into the scheme last year, and it was that seemed choppier. There was a lot of drops. It just seemed like a lot of checkdowns. I expect it to be almost a little bit smoother with the way they're able to kind of run the ball. I think last year we started off not really being able to run the ball well. I think when you have an identity, it may be a little choppy, but when it runs good, it's going to look a lot smoother than even last year's offense did to start.
Yeah, and I would say the last piece on the offense, we talk about smoother. I think the one red flag, and we talked about this in spring ball when Kevin Haywood went down with his ACL, is what's going on with this offensive line. I think we've been seeing, each day at camp, we've seen rotation of guys at that left tackle spot with Heinzen, the portal guy from,
Yep.
I want to say, Central Michigan that we brought in the spring window. JP Benchwald, Brunner's been filling in. I don't know where your head's at with the offensive line, but for me personally, I want the best five out there. I don't
Yep.
care if a guy's been playing guard or if he got recruited to play guard. If he like Emerson Mendel to me is a guy 6'5". He's listed as has the body for a tackle. He could be a little raw, but if we've been told that he's a very strong athlete in the offensive line, if he can fill in the void, I think we try all people to provide the best five possible. I'm a little concerned at the left tackle spot. Very concerned.
Yeah, no, I definitely think the left tackle spot's going to be an issue. I think, like I said, this offense helps a little bit. I think they're probably going to be willing to put a tight end over there to kind of chip and do stuff like that to help out who's ever there. I agree with you, best five, but I mean, the problem is, it's like, how do you look at that? Is that a talent perspective, or is that how are these guys going to mesh? Do you have guys that work well together? Because if you move Brunner over there, does that actually make you worse? It's like, even though he might be the best guy for it, if putting somebody next to Brunner and Brunner still at left guard makes it better for a better combo, like, I think that's still your best five. It's how the five all work together and interchange through those things.
Yeah, and I think Renfro being the quarterback of that offensive line, as a steady presence, I think is going to be key to help kind of mesh these guys
Yeah.
together. But we just got to remember Billy Edwards coming from Maryland, whose offensive line was atrocious. We do expect it to be better here, but I think he, and his blind side, he needs to feel like he can stand in the pocket and deliver throws down the field.
Yeah.
And if our offensive line, we kind of seen what Billy Edwards looked like in Maryland, with a choppy group. I don't want him to be put in that position because
Yeah.
I think we can be in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my thing would be like, if this was kind of going back to Paul Christ, I think it would be Brunner 100%. I think they did that for a long time. You stuck a guy out at left tackle because, hey, when you play left tackle, even if you're not that great, they know you can play guard. And when it comes to the NFL, you saw it a lot. Badger linemen were still getting drafted, and they'd get shifted to guard a lot. So that's what I would think would happen. But this is a new team, new coaches. So I mean, from like what they used to do when guys are like making the league consistently, and it's a different offensive line coach. So it'll be interesting to see how he handles it.
And also, my last comment on this whole thing is what I like about this. I have said I'm concerned, but one thing I do like is that they are throwing darts on the dartboard. They're trying
Yep.
different things. I know we saw Leighton Nelson in the spring showcase. That was not promising at all. So I'm glad to see that we're not just throwing him back out there.
Yeah.
That we're trying other people, and and
He
Coach
was coming
Blazek,
off an injury, so I give him some
correct,
credit for that.
right, and I'll say Coach Blazek, like this is time for him to flex his muscle a little bit. We've talked highly of him in the recruiting front and the recruiting trail. Let's see how he can handle losing your top left tackle, and can he coach up guys to fill the void. So I'm very interested in that. But I think we want to talk a little bit of defense here too, Robbie, don't we?
Yep, absolutely. No, definitely kind of want to get into kind of the cornerback room. I think it's going to be the biggest area for controversy. I think just with the Nizier Forkering thing, it's like, in my opinion, I'm not thinking he's on the team. That's just my consideration. I think you look
Does
at a
the
guy like Agard right now.
does the coaching staff know that though? Because we heard reports that Forkering's taking reps in spring
Yeah,
practice, which I literally almost smashed my head on the wall. I was like, what are we doing?
yeah. No, there's a while ago that Fickell got asked a question by the media, like what's going on with the court case, and Fickell didn't want to answer. Basically said, you see him on the field, he's going to be on the team. And now it looks like that's not going to happen. So I think Fickell needs to eat some crow on that one, because it doesn't look like he was right there. So I don't know what he's doing. There's got to be some money involved. And
Oh,
so
for
they're
sure.
trying to keep who's ever paying him happy.
Right, and listen, like I was on the Nizier train through the initial process when we appealed when we fought the initial ruling. It was like, okay, we're gonna throw our best hand out there, and it got shot down. It's like, guys, Nizier. It's not like Nizier Forkring's an NFL prospect. He's a solid college player, but like I think this shows a little bit of poor roster construction on our part. If we're that worried about I don't even know how many years he's been in the NCAA umbrella, 7, 8 years. I mean, if we're that concerned about a guy that's a lifetime college player leaving, I think that's is more of an egg in the face of the recruiting staff and the team
Yeah.
as a whole of how we've constructed this roster. Like
Yeah.
now we have
I think the only thing you could say would be that, they told Nizier that they could probably get him back on the team. And so now at the end they're saying, we're trying everything in our power to get you back on the team because you weren't able to, you gave up the NFL draft for this year because we told you we could get this done. And in that, I mean, that's what you can go to people and say, hey, yeah, this didn't work out, but you can see everything that we did for him. And if that's how they're trying to sell it, I guess at this point you got nothing to lose. But I do think that, yeah, he needs to be helping coach, not be taking reps.
right, and he should be on street clothes on the sideline. And and,
Yep.
and, just the overall off season too, like not to navigate or deviate too far, but it's like I'm tired of all the court cases. I'm tired of all the legal battles. It's like, I mean, I know football isn't going on right now for wins and losses in the fall schedule. But it's like I hope to God we're putting the same amount of effort onto the field this year than we're seeing in these legal battles. Because
Yeah.
yes, the Xavier Lucas thing, we've wrung that story out like to the nth degree. But now with this Nizier Forkring thing, it's like let's just show up and show out on the field, and hopefully these legal cases and legal battles can just be gone with the wind and we don't have to worry about it. But I just feel like there's just a weird taste in my mouth, and it's like I would love to know what other Big Ten schools are thinking about Wisconsin right now. Like, are they saying like what is going on over there? Like, are we a laughing stock in the conference? Are we
Yeah.
being applauded? I don't know. But from a fan standpoint, it's like I'm kind of just tired of it. Like I'm fatigued of all these legal stories and court cases. And it's like let's move on. Let's play some football. Let's get this bad taste out of our mouth of this bull streak that we lost, and apply that same passion for these court cases onto the field. And that's where I sit. And I think a lot of fans are on that boat too.
Yep. No, I think really what it is I think every fan base knows that there's some lawsuit going on in a lot of places and they just don't really care unless it's your team. But I mean, I would say the big thing is, it's like, who knows what's going on with Nizier Forkering, but we do return two guys at safety, that being Preston Zachman. I didn't know if he was going to be coming back, so it's nice to see him come back. And Austin Brown seems like he's going to kind of solidify that safety spot. He was playing a little bit more nickel last year, so now kind of getting him into his safety spot. Hopefully that gives him the ability to kind of be a little bit more of a ball hawk, which I think when it comes to being a ball hawk, he has more potential there than Hunter Wohler did, from my perspective.
Yeah, I mean Wooler was a totally different skill set too. More a
Yep.
guy that would come in the box and lay the lumber. Austin Brown, I feel like can actually help against some of these more high potent, high speed receivers that we're going to be playing against Bama, Ohio State, Oregon, etc. I think having him locked in at the safety spot, which I think the consensus amongst the fan base is that's where he should be, outside of being a slot guy. So I am excited to see him play. I mean, we've been hearing great things out of the strength and conditioning program, that he's one of the faster guys on the team, and some of his weight room numbers are freakish. So I am looking forward to seeing what it turns out in the field. And that's what it turns out at the end of the day, is what can you produce on the field.
Funny thing about Austin Brown, I remember when he got recruited, and it was the year after Braylon Allen got recruited, and so he played wide receiver in high school too. So they asked Jim Leonard if they were going to try to switch him to wide receiver, and Jimmy basically was like, "No, you're not doing that to me again." So it's kind of funny thing, but it's like, hey, he could have helped out the wide receiver room, but yeah, no, glad to have him still at safety for sure.
Yeah, and I think the other story, the other spot, when we talked about the secondary, I think the other part of the defense that we're all holding our breath for is really the front four.
Yep.
We could say front seven, but I think you and I are pretty high on the linebacking crew. I think the front four, what are these big boys up front going to do? We heard all offseason, we got 300-pounders. We got bigger guys. We got bigger. Sure, we look great now. If you pull up the Wisconsin Badgers roster on their website, it looks great on the weight side. How's that going to translate? Who are some guys, Robbie, that you're kind of looking for in the back of your mind that should step up this year on the front four?
Yeah, I mean, if Perkins doesn't do something, that will just be embarrassing with how much people have talked about him. Definitely excited about him. I mean, JVR Suggs, he's the lighter one, but I still think he can get in there for some pass rush stuff. Dylan Johnson, he played last year, so I'm excited about him. So no, I'm definitely excited about a lot of these guys. I think it's just we're just not going to get pushed around as much. That's my hope. And I think
and we have depth. We can go like 5 or 6 deep. So when you can rotate these guys. I feel like in last year, we were gassed by the third quarter because we didn't have much depth behind them. And I'll say one guy and I think he gets forgotten, and I'm a little sour to him still because he did technically go in the portal but came back as Jamel Howard.
Yeah.
He's a guy that was a big recruiting win for us when we got him a few years ago. And there was reports about his work ethic and how's he really developing. It sounds like since he's come back from the portal this year, from the offseason, that he's really taken the weight program seriously and he's making some splashes in camp. So he's a guy, homegrown kid technically because we recruited him. It'd be nice to see him kind of mesh with these transfers that have come in.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it's like the big thing is you just looked at depth in general. And I think it was either last year or 2 years ago, we only had 10 scholarship defensive linemen, which, I mean, to rotate, it's just you had true freshmen in there. So at the end of it, you had 7. And it's the ability to rotate in and out guys, it was just pathetic, really. And it's and then I looked at Cincinnati to see what they still kind of had. I think they had 20, it's literally double. It's how is Cincinnati having all these guys and we only have 10 scholarship guys? This is embarrassing. And we're finally getting to the amount that we probably should have. And so that's exciting. But no, it's you got a guy like Mason Reiger, though, on the edge. It's that's what I'm getting excited about. And you already know my love for Tackett Curtis and Christian Allegro. That's gonna be nice there.
Yeah, I think our pass rush has to improve. I mean, we were pretty poor last year, so we got a lot of hype around true freshman Nick Clayton. I don't know how much runtime he's going to get.
Yeah.
In this day and age of college football, to hang on to these guys, does he have to play a little bit? Probably. You'll probably see him on special teams, but I think the edge is interesting. You talked about Mason Reiger. You got Sebastian Cheeks. You got Tyrese Fearbury. A name that's polarizing, Daryl Peterson. He's been flashing at camp again. I mean, I know this is a little,
every year
Groundhog Day situation, but one thing I will say about Daryl Peterson,
hands in the dirt though, hands in the dirt this time, a little different.
But in his defense, and I'll go to bat for Daryl Peterson, maybe not so much on the field, but he's been a glue guy in the locker room. You got to remember, we're bringing in all these transfers, kids from different backgrounds, different programs, different views of football. Daryl Peterson's been around the program. He's the guy that's kind of the glue in the room saying, guys, this is Badger football. This is what we're going to do. Yeah, exactly. Like bringing him in, like you've seen some great stories with Mason Reiger and coming to his faith and growing and being a better man and learning about himself. And credit to guys like Hallman and Daryl Pearson to like really bring these guys in and make them feel like part of the team. And I can imagine how weird it could be in this transfer portal era where you have these transfer guys coming in and the homegrown kids, and how do you mesh that all together? So if he can't produce on the field, hopefully he's doing some work behind the scenes of really making these guys, feel welcome and part of the gang. So I'm pumped. I'm pumped for this season.
Oh,
I'm ready
yeah.
to go. Like I
I
can't.
want to
It's
see Daryl Peterson.
August.
Oh yeah, I want to see Daryl Peterson get a sack off his spin move finally. I don't know if it's ever actually happened. I've seen the spin move so many times, but never a sack off of it. So I just want to see that for him. Maybe senior day he'll get it. It'll be this great thing. But no, definitely excited about this team. Like you said, Daryl Peterson, Ricardo Hallman. It's like I just feel like there's a different energy truly about this team. Like I'm still going 6-6 for my record prediction. I've said I can't go any higher than that. I've been hurt too many times. But that's where I'm at. I don't know where you're at, but this team's exciting me.
Yeah, I mean, where I'm at, it changes by the day, honestly. But like, I guess we can close on this. Is like maybe we spent a couple minutes on this topic. It goes with my prediction, but like, I think as a fan base, there's been kind of a wrestling with the schedule. We saw Melvin Gordon go live on ESPN Madison and say, "Who cares about the schedule? Strap on the pads and play the game." And I think you and I kind of fit in that mold. I'll be completely transparent. I felt a little sorry for us earlier in the summer. It's like, man, the schedule sucks. Like, what's going on? And then like as I've kind of sat down and chewed on it, it's like just let's play the games. Like last year, Oregon, we had them close. Penn State, we had them close. If you look at our schedule, I would say the two auto losses that you can just mark, Bama and Oregon, because those are two tough road games.
Yep.
Your other tough games are home, and then Michigan. We don't even know what Michigan's about. Like, let's be real. I mean, I don't think I would be shocked if we won that game, but I think we have a fighter's chance. Like earlier in the summer, I was like, Michigan, we have no chance. But like now, if you think about it, it's like they're not the dominant team under Harbaugh. Who knows what Sharon Moore is about? Like he's kind of a we don't know. I mean, he beat Ohio State last year. Congrats. Like that's all you got to show.
Yeah.
So like I've been fluctuating anywhere from like your 6-win mark. I wouldn't mind. I've been looking at 8, 9. Like, why can't we beat Iowa at home? Tell me why we can't beat Iowa at home. I think we could.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I think we can beat Iowa.
And I think
But
it's
a coin flip game.
Yeah, it will be a coin flip game. But like, I think we do some episodes breaking down the schedule. Maybe we look at each matchup and talk about what we see. But let us know in the comments what you guys think of the schedule. I think Robbie and I are pretty aligned. It's like, let's strap the pads, play the game. Like, we're not as far away as people think. And if we stay healthy at the quarterback position and our defense actually shows up, I mean, I think we can make some noise in the Big Ten.
Yeah, no, like I said, my prediction is 6-6. Do I think they could win more than that? Yeah, I do. I think they could be an 8-win team, but I can't predict it because they haven't shown it.
Right.
That's where I'm at. As far as the schedule goes, I mean, you just said last year, it's like who are the big teams we lost to? You get Ohio State and Penn State, and you get Oregon. But here's the thing: they're in the Big Ten. Most likely, we're going to play one of those teams every year, or two of those teams every year. This year, still playing Penn State, still playing Oregon. So, I mean, you're going to have to deal with that. The only one that we scheduled was Alabama. And I can't really be mad about the scheduling of Alabama because this was before the playoff really happened. And you were looking for the strength of schedule, in which case you want to play a team like Bama because if you beat them, it's like that makes your strength of schedule look better. And we didn't have Oregon in our division. We didn't have Washington, who's not as good, but still, it's like these teams that you bring in, you're bringing in better competition. And I'm sorry, but this is the new normal. You got to get used to it. You got to play better. You can't just whine that we have a tough schedule because most likely it's going to keep happening. I don't want to hear this complaining every other year because we have a tough schedule.
And what do you think brings recruits into Madison? They want to play big games against big opponents and big venues to get drafted in the NFL. So we should be celebrating the fact that we get to play these games and that we're not a Syracuse or a North Carolina in the dumpy ACC where they circle Clemson on the calendar and Florida State. Who knows what they're going to be? But like let's take advantage of these opportunities and have these awesome matchups in these awesome venues.
Yeah.
And like, let's remember Alabama. They lost to Vanderbilt last year. It's not like Alabama's this juggernaut. Like let's just stop. Like, I'm tired of this like this victim culture in the fan base. Like, oh, we have no chance. The NCAA is out against us. Like, come on.
Yeah, no, this is a
I'm
blue
fired
collar
up.
team. Tie tie your bootstraps up. Let's get going.
I'm fired up. I'm ready for some football
Yeah,
tonight. We just had the
all right,
Hall of Fame game
let's
last
go.
night. I'm ready.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say John Harbaugh, gone from Michigan, so he can stay. He can stay out.
Jim Harbaugh. Johnny's in Baltimore.
Yeah, but see, no, that was on purpose. I didn't want to get his name wrong on purpose. So, I don't care about who he is. He's gone. He's not in Michigan anymore. We don't care. So, no, definitely excited for some football. Ready to get going. Definitely going to be ready to keep going with Badger Pack Sports and just keep bringing you guys the Badger news here. So be sure to like and subscribe this video, and we will see you next time.
Peace.